Welcome to the Conspiracy Archive. I'm your host, Ben Carter. Delving deeper into the labyrinthine mysteries of the simulation hypothesis, we find ourselves at the crossroads where science, philosophy, and the occult intertwine. The belief we are living in a computer-generated world might seem to be a concept lifted straight from the realms of science fiction. Yet this notion is not as alien as one might initially think. Indeed, it rests on the bedrock of a philosophical query that has intrigued thinkers since time immemorial. How do we distinguish the real from the unreal? Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher, grappled with this question in his allegory of the cave, where he questioned the nature of reality, suggesting that our perception of the world might be a mere shadow of a deeper truth. Fast forward a few millennia, and we find ourselves in the age of quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality. In this era of rapid technological advancement, the simulation hypothesis does not seem as far-fetched as it would have in Plato's time. Taking a step further into the realm of the esoteric, we find parallels in ancient mystic traditions as well. The Hindu concept of Maya, for instance, refers to the world as an illusion, a cosmic play of the divine. Could it be that our ancestors were pointing towards the same truth that modern scientists are beginning to consider, that our reality might be a grand simulation? Yet, the simulation hypothesis does not merely posit that we are characters in a cosmic video game. It suggests a much more profound idea, that we are conscious entities living within a programmed reality. In other words, we are not just characters, but players in this game of existence. This perspective forces us to reconsider our notions of consciousness and free will. It invites us to question the nature of our existence and the fabric of reality itself. It is a journey not just into the outer limits of scientific inquiry, but also into the innermost depths of human understanding. The simulation hypothesis, therefore, is not just about technology, but about the fundamental questions of life, existence, and consciousness. It is a prism through which we can explore the mysteries of the universe and our place within it. And just as the mystics of old sought hidden truths through their spiritual inquiries, so too does the simulation hypothesis beckon us towards a new frontier of understanding. It invites us to step into a world where the lines between science and spirituality blur, a world shrouded in mystery and brimming with infinite possibilities. The journey through this labyrinth of the mind is only just beginning. Delving into the historical context of the simulation hypothesis, we must acknowledge that this idea is not entirely a product of the 21st century. It stems from a lineage of philosophical, scientific, and even spiritual inquiries that have been taking place for centuries. Many cultures, ancient and contemporary, have espoused the belief that reality is not as it appears. The aforementioned Hindu concept of Maya, the Buddhist idea of samsara as a cycle of illusion, and the Gnostic belief of the physical world as a prison of the spirit all resonate with the underlying concept of the simulation hypothesis. These philosophies, sprinkled across time and geography, suggest a long-standing human curiosity about the nature of our perceived reality. In the West, the Enlightenment period saw philosophers like René Descartes pondering the reliability of our senses. His famous dictum, cogito ergo sum, or I think therefore I am, questioned the certainty of existence outside our consciousness. Descartes' meditations laid the groundwork for philosophical skepticism, a school of thought that echoed the ancient Eastern philosophies and resonates with the modern simulation hypothesis. In the 20th century, the advent of computer technology added a new dimension to these philosophical inquiries. Scientists and thinkers began to speculate about the potential of machines to create simulated realities. As technology advanced, so did the plausibility of this idea. Today, with our increasingly sophisticated virtual and augmented reality technologies, the notion of a simulated universe seems less like science fiction and more like a scientific possibility. The political landscape has also played a role in shaping the simulation hypothesis. The Cold War era, for example, saw a surge in scientific research and technological development driven by the geopolitical rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. This period also witnessed the birth of the Internet, a technology that would later become integral to discussions about the simulation hypothesis. Culturally, the simulation hypothesis has permeated popular media, with films like The Matrix and Inception exploring the idea of simulated realities. These cultural artifacts reflect and amplify societal interest in the theory, contributing to its current prominence in public discourse. Thus, the simulation hypothesis is not an isolated concept, but a part of an interconnected web of philosophical, scientific, political, and cultural narratives. It stands at the junction of disparate threads of human thought, weaving together ancient philosophies and cutting-edge science, political motivations, and cultural expressions. It is a testament to our enduring quest for understanding the nature of our existence and the fabric of reality itself. In the landscape of minds that have shaped the simulation hypothesis, a few names stand out. British philosopher Nick Bostrom, for instance, has been instrumental in advancing this theory. In 2003, he published a paper titled "Are You Living in a Computer Simulation?", wherein he proposed a trilemma, now known as Bostrom's trilemma. This trilemma asserts that at least one of the following propositions is true. 1. The human species is very likely to become extinct before reaching a posthuman stage. 2. Any posthuman civilization is extremely unlikely to run a significant number of simulations of their evolutionary history. Or 3. We are almost certainly living in a computer simulation. With this, Bostrom didn't merely bring the simulation hypothesis into the spotlight. He offered a rigorous, scientific framework that invited serious consideration of this idea. Another key figure is Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla. While Musk is not a philosopher or scientist, his influence cannot be understated. In 2016, during an interview at the Code Conference, he stated that there's a 1 in billions chance that we're not living in a simulation. This statement, coming from a prominent figure in the tech industry, brought mainstream attention to the simulation hypothesis. The influence of Hans Moravec, a pioneering researcher in robotics and artificial intelligence, also deserves mention. His work on transhumanism and his belief in the inevitability of a post-biological civilization provided the backdrop against which the simulation hypothesis evolved. Moravec's vision of a future where humans merge with machines resonate with the post-human civilization scenario posited by Bostrom's trilemma. In addition to individuals, significant events have also shaped this theory. The aforementioned Cold War era, which spurred technological advancements, is one such event. Another is the rapid development of virtual reality technologies in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. These advancements have transformed the way we perceive and interact with reality, further blurring the line between the physical and the virtual. The influential 1970s thought experiment by philosopher Robert Nozick, the experience machine, is another key event. Nozick proposed a hypothetical machine that could provide its user with any experience they desired, leading to discussions on the nature of reality and the value of authenticity versus simulation. The simulation hypothesis is therefore not the product of a single mind or event. It's a theory shaped by a confluence of philosophical thought, technological advancements, influential figures, and crucial events. It is both a reflection and a product of our complex, evolving understanding of existence and reality. Now, let's delve into the core evidence and claims that underpin the simulation hypothesis. Several technological and philosophical arguments form the bedrock of this provocative theory. The first is the argument from technology. As we continue to make strides in computing power, the concept of creating a simulated reality becomes less implausible. The trajectory of technological development suggests that we could eventually build a computer powerful enough to simulate a universe indistinguishable from our own. Advocates of the simulation hypothesis argue that if we can conceive of this possibility, then it's likely that a more advanced civilization has already achieved it. The second argument is predicated on the principle of indifference. This principle suggests that if there are a vast number of simulations and only one base reality, then statistically it is more likely that we exist within a simulation rather than the base reality. Coupled with the argument from technology, this provides a statistical basis for the simulation hypothesis. A third argument is derived from the observation of quantum phenomena. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics, such as the observer effect and quantum superposition, seem to imply a reality that behaves more like a computer simulation than a traditional physical system. These strange quantum behaviors, proponents argue, could be the glitches or artifacts of the simulated reality we inhabit. Then there's the anthropic argument, which states that if a posthuman civilization has the capability to run a significant number of ancestor simulations, they would likely choose to do so out of curiosity about their past, or for other reasons we can't fathom. Therefore, according to this argument, it's reasonable to assume we're living in a simulation. Finally, there's the argument from the Fermi paradox, the apparent contradiction between the high probability of extraterrestrial life and the lack of evidence or contact with such civilizations. Some propose that this paradox can be resolved by the simulation hypothesis. If we are living in a simulation, it would explain why we have not encountered any other intelligent life. These core arguments, while thought-provoking, are not without their critics. Each one has been subject to intense scrutiny and debate, but they remain the pillars upon which the simulation hypothesis rests. Whether you find them convincing or perhaps unsettling, they continue to fuel fascinating discussions about the nature of our universe and the possibility of simulated realities. In evaluating the strength of these arguments, it's crucial to test them against available evidence. The argument from technology, for instance, relies heavily on the assumption that a posthuman civilization would have the technological capability to simulate reality. While we can foresee such advancements based on our current progress, we cannot guarantee this future. Technological development could hit insurmountable physical or ethical barriers, making the creation of a convincing simulated reality impossible. The principle of indifference argument, meanwhile, presumes that a vast number of simulations exist. This is a significant assumption with no empirical evidence to support it. Moreover, it considers all realities as equally probable, bypassing any distinctions between base and simulated realities. Quantum phenomena, while indeed puzzling, are not definitive proof of a simulated reality. They might merely reflect our limited understanding of the universe. Furthermore, interpreting these phenomena as glitches in a simulation is speculative, as it leans on metaphor rather than concrete evidence. The anthropic principle, while compelling, is based on subjective human motivations that may not apply to a posthuman civilization. It also assumes a level of curiosity about the past that may not hold universally true. The application of the Fermi paradox to the simulation hypothesis is a fascinating conjecture. However, it's more of an explanatory tool than a piece of evidence. It offers a hypothetical resolution to an existing paradox, but it doesn't provide independent empirical support for the simulation hypothesis. While these arguments have their strengths, they also possess intrinsic weaknesses. They rely heavily on assumptions about future technology, the motivations of posthuman civilizations, and interpretations of quantum phenomena. This does not necessarily discredit the simulation hypothesis, but it does highlight the need for more robust empirical evidence. As in any scientific inquiry, the strength of a hypothesis lies not only in its explanatory power, but also in its capacity to generate verifiable predictions. At this point, the simulation hypothesis falls short in this regard. It is, for now, a philosophical conjecture, a lens through which we can view and question our understanding of reality. But without tangible, testable predictions, it straddles the boundary between science and speculation. Until such evidence emerges, the simulation hypothesis remains a tantalizing possibility, an enigma wrapped in the fabric of our quest for understanding the nature of our universe. While the simulation hypothesis continues to captivate minds and fuel speculation, it is far from universally accepted. Critics and skeptics question its underlying assumptions, scientific validity, and philosophical implications. Physicist Paul Davies, for instance, argues that the simulation hypothesis is irrefutable. In other words, there's no way to disprove it, which for some pushes it outside the realm of science and into the territory of unfalsifiable metaphysical speculation. Any observation, no matter how contradictory, could be interpreted as part of the simulation, making it impossible to collect evidence against the hypothesis. Others, like philosopher David Chalmers, although open to the idea, caution against equating it with reality. Chalmers suggests that even if we are in a simulation, it doesn't diminish the reality of our experiences or the existence of our consciousness. It merely adds a layer of complexity to our understanding of the universe. Then there are those who challenge the technological feasibility of the hypothesis. Computer scientist Scott Aronson, for instance, argues that simulating a universe down to the quantum level would require computational resources so vast that they would essentially constitute a universe in their own right. This raises questions about the practicality and motivation for such an endeavor. Moreover, critics highlight the anthropocentric bias inherent in the hypothesis. The assumption that advanced civilizations would be interested in simulating their ancestors, or that they would even share our notions of reality and simulation, is deeply rooted in human perspectives and experiences. Such assumptions, critics argue, may not hold true in a post-human context. Critics also question the applicability of Occam's razor to the simulation hypothesis, as it seems to add unnecessary layers of complexity to our understanding of reality. If a simpler explanation exists, such as a non-simulated universe, then why posit an elaborate simulation? These counterarguments do not necessarily invalidate the simulation hypothesis, but they do underscore the need for rigorous debate and scrutiny. Like any bold conjecture, it must withstand the crucible of rigorous testing and critical examination. Until it does, the simulation hypothesis will remain a fascinating yet controversial element of our exploration of reality's ultimate nature. Moving beyond the academic and philosophical realms, let's turn to the societal and cultural implications of the simulation hypothesis. The idea that our reality might be a simulation has permeated popular culture, shaping narratives in books, films, and video games. The Matrix franchise, for instance, is arguably the most notable example of this concept becoming a cultural phenomenon. These narratives typically focus on the existential dread associated with the simulation hypothesis, exploring themes of truth, freedom, and the nature of reality. They often depict characters grappling with the revelation that their world is artificial, leading to existential crises, rebellions against their creators, or quests for a deeper understanding of their existence. Interestingly, these narratives mirror historical and ongoing human struggles with discovering unsettling truths about our existence. They echo the Copernican revolution's displacement of Earth from the center of the universe, Darwin's theory of evolution challenging the uniqueness of humanity, and the existential angst stirred by the realization of our insignificance in the face of a vast cosmos. In this sense, the simulation hypothesis and its resultant cultural narratives can be seen as a continuation of humanity's ongoing confrontation with the unsettling aspects of our existence. However, the simulation hypothesis also poses unique challenges to our understanding of ethics and morality. If we are living in a simulation, what does that say about our actions and their consequences? Are they any less significant if our reality is simulated? Do they matter only to us? Or do they also matter to those who might be running the simulation? And what about the ethics of the simulators themselves? If they have the power to create sentient beings in a simulated reality, what moral responsibilities do they bear towards their creations? These questions challenge our traditional ethical frameworks, pushing us to consider new perspectives and possibilities. They force us to reckon with the potential subjectivity of morality, the significance of consciousness, and the value of existence, simulated or not. The simulation hypothesis also has implications for our understanding of religion and spirituality. For some, the idea of an advanced civilization creating and controlling our reality echoes traditional concepts of a god or gods. It raises provocative questions about free will, predestination, and the nature of divinity. For others, the hypothesis is more akin to Eastern philosophies that view the material world as an illusion, a veil of Maya obscuring a deeper, more profound reality. In conclusion, the simulation hypothesis, while still speculative and controversial, has profound implications for our society and culture. It challenges our understanding of reality, provokes deep philosophical and ethical questions, and influences our narratives and belief systems. Whether we ever prove its validity or not, its cultural and societal impact cannot be denied. The simulation hypothesis has made its entry into the collective consciousness, leaving indelible imprints on popular culture, media, and narratives. It has become a fertile ground for storytellers, exploring the implications of a simulated reality through the lens of science fiction, drama, and even horror. One of the earliest and most influential portrayals of the simulation hypothesis in media is the 1999 film The Matrix. The film's protagonists live in an artificial reality, a simulation created by sentient machines to keep humanity enslaved. The concept of a false reality masking a harsher truth struck a chord with viewers, stoking the fires of curiosity about the nature of our own reality. The film's success spawned numerous iterations exploring similar themes, cementing the simulation hypothesis within the realm of popular culture. Television series, too, have not been immune to the allure of the simulation hypothesis. The critically acclaimed Black Mirror often grapples with the implications of advanced technology, including the creation of simulated realities. In one episode, White Christmas, characters are trapped within a simulated reality, experiencing time at an accelerated pace, a chilling exploration of the potential abuses of such technologies. Beyond the realm of film and television, the simulation hypothesis has also found a place in literature. Novels such as Permutation City by Greg Egan and The Gone World by Tom Sweterlich grapple with the philosophical and existential implications of living in a simulated reality. Video games, too, have been a ripe medium for exploring these ideas. Titles like The Sims, Second Life, and the more recent No Man's Sky and Minecraft allow players to create, manipulate, and exist within virtual worlds, arguably simulated realities in their own right. This infiltration of the simulation hypothesis into our media and narratives is indicative of the deep fascination and unease this concept instills. It serves as a mirror reflecting our anxieties about the nature of our existence, our place in the universe, and the potential consequences of our technological advancements. These narratives compel us to confront the uncomfortable questions posed by the simulation hypothesis, forcing us to grapple with the uncomfortable notion that our reality may not be as solid or as certain as we once believed. The portrayal of the simulation hypothesis in media and narratives also raises intriguing questions about the nature of storytelling itself. If we are indeed living in a simulation, what does that say about the stories we tell? Are they simply products of our simulated minds, or do they hold some deeper truth about the nature of our existence? This intersection of narrative and reality is yet another layer of complexity added by the simulation hypothesis, further deepening its cultural and societal impact. And so, we venture further into the labyrinth of the simulation hypothesis, into the realms of the less explored, the fringe theories, the speculative ideas. Enter the concept of the matrix defense, a term coined following a few legal cases in the early 2000s, where the defendants claimed they were not responsible for their actions as they believed they were living in a simulated reality, much like the movie The Matrix. Although these defenses were not successful, they do highlight the potential for the simulation hypothesis to impact not only our philosophical and cultural discussions, but also our legal and ethical frameworks. Could our understanding of free will, responsibility, and morality alter if we accept the possibility that our existence is not real? That our actions are but programmed responses in a sophisticated cosmic game? Consider also the realm of quantum physics, a field that often intersects with the simulation hypothesis. Some theorists suggest that quantum phenomena like superposition and entanglement could be indications of a simulated reality. They argue that these peculiarities of the quantum world behave much like glitches or cheats in a video game, possibly revealing the underlying code of our simulated universe. Then there's the concept of ancestor simulations. Originated by philosopher Nick Bostrom, it suggests that future civilizations might run detailed simulations of their ancestors. This theory proposes that if a civilization reaches a technologically advanced stage without destroying itself, it would likely run numerous simulations of its evolutionary history, and we could be living in one such simulation. Lastly, there's the intriguing idea of nested simulations. If we were to create a simulated universe within our own, would that not suggest the possibility of infinite layers of simulations, each one embedded within the other like Russian nesting dolls? We could be in a simulation within a simulation, stretching into infinity. Each of these theories, wild as they may seem, adds another facet to the diamond that is the simulation hypothesis. They further weave the tapestry of discussion around this concept, pushing the boundaries of what we consider possible and challenging our understanding of reality. As we stand on the precipice of the unknown, these speculations fuel our journey into the uncharted territories of the mind and the universe. Such is the power and the allure of the simulation hypothesis, an idea that forever alters the way we perceive the world around us and our place within it. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where the flickering stars whisper stories of ancient civilizations and the silent void breathes mysteries yet untold, we find ourselves grappling with the enigma that is the simulation hypothesis. It is a theory that shakes the very foundation of our understanding, demanding that we question everything we thought we knew. It suggests that our perception of reality might be nothing more than an illusion, a construct of an advanced civilization or some cosmic entity, and that we might be mere characters in a grand cosmic play. The simulation hypothesis does not merely challenge our comprehension of reality, but it also invites us to explore the depths of our own consciousness. After all, if we are in a simulation, what does it mean to be conscious? Do our thoughts, our emotions, our dreams spring from some intricate lines of code? And if so, does that make them any less real? Are we, as conscious beings, just sophisticated algorithms navigating an intricately designed cosmos? Moreover, the simulation hypothesis encourages us to confront the profound question of purpose. If our existence is indeed a simulation, what then is our purpose within it? Are we mere pawns in a cosmic game, or do we hold an intrinsic value within the grand scheme of the universe? These are questions that touch the very core of our existence, forcing us to reevaluate our beliefs and our place in the world. As we delve into the mysteries of the simulation hypothesis, we must tread with caution, for we are venturing into uncharted territories. We are pushing the boundaries of our knowledge, challenging the limits of our comprehension. But it is precisely this audacity to question, to wonder, to seek, that has propelled humanity's quest for knowledge since time immemorial. It emphasizes the fact that we are explorers by nature, always yearning to unravel the mysteries of our existence. In conclusion, the simulation hypothesis is not just a theory about our reality, it is a mirror reflecting our curiosity, our thirst for knowledge, our relentless pursuit of the truth. It is a testament to the power of the human mind, capable of conceiving such a profound and complex idea, one that challenges us to look beyond the surface and question the very fabric of our reality. Whether or not we are living in a simulation, the very act of contemplating such a possibility is a testament to the boundless potential of human thought and imagination. It serves as a reminder that reality, as we know it, is a concept that is constantly evolving, shaped and molded by our ever-expanding understanding of the universe. Thanks for listening. This has been the Conspiracy Archive. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to the Forbidden Knowledge Network on Patreon. Subscribe now.